Hey, what do you say? This is Paul Shortino coming at you today from Ruff Cutt and Quiet Riot, and currently with King Kobra. Check out We Are Warriors. And you're listening to the Nothing Shocking Podcast. Keep rocking, Eric and Jeff.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking Podcast, a non-genre based, all ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
We're putting the band back together.
The numbers all go to 11.
I'm talking about bands that rock. Led Zeppelin. What about Sabbath? AC/DC. Motorhead.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
I get up off the ground and raise my head. Days like this, think I should be dead. One for Satan, two for me. Let's cheat the devil, it's fun, don't you agree?
Welcome to the Nothing Shocking Podcast. I'm your co-host, Jeff Untied, and with me in Dog Bowl Studios is
Coach Nez.
You can find the Nothing Shocking Podcast or Libsyn or any podcatchers. Like our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter at NoShockPod.
You can also find the Nothing Shocking Podcast on Rock Rage Radio every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Our sponsor is Ragged Records, located in downtown Rock Island, Illinois, and downtown Davenport, Iowa. We'd like to thank the Hong Kong Sleepover for allowing us to use their music for our intro and bumper ending. Tonight's guest is
Paul Shortino, formerly of Quiet Riot.
Ruff Cutt.
And King Kobra.
Yeah, King Kobra has a new album out, We Are the Warriors.
Yeah, it's a great album.
Great interview. Let's get to it.
All right, good night.
Good night. Paul, welcome to the Nothing Shocking Podcast. I'd like to introduce you, my co-host, Jeff Untied.
Paul, thanks for joining us tonight.
That's a pleasure and an honor, guys.
Oh, we are so excited to have you. Well, this past 2023, King Kobra released the band's newest album, We Are the Warriors. It's the band's first album since 2013. I guess, can you talk a little bit more about the writing and recording process of this album?
Yeah, it was really interesting how we did it. I actually ended up being the producer of it and sharing the production with Pat Reagan, who mixed it. He started mixing. I was like the hub. Everybody was sending me ideas and the files and whatnot. Actually, Rowan Robertson worked here in the studio with me, and we wrote things together collectively. And Carmine is in Florida. So here we're recording everything to a click. I think the song Together and Forever, Side by Side. It was a song that I had written, and Carmine came up with this great groove differently than what the song was written as. But so he got some credit on that song, but that was like a song that I had in the wings. And how we did this was we sat down. Carlos would send pretty much a whole song, except for one song I did some editing to. And then we would put it all to a click and send it to Carmine. And Carmine would play to everybody with a click, and then he would send his drums back to me, and the guys would send their files to me, and then we recorded what we had already recorded again to his drums, because he wasn't really playing on a click. He'd play around a click, and so it actually gave it more of a live vibe, I think, because Carmine, the way he plays is so free, and he plays stuff that you never think, like on a couple songs he played something totally different than you would imagine another drummer playing. you know. So it's been his band from the very beginning, and I've been honored to work with him. And it was a lot of work because it took a lot of time because of, you know, the everything going down with the COVID thing. So
You've been quite busy the last couple of years. What are some of the projects you've been working on?
just before COVID, I had released an album on Ward Records with numerous Doug Aldridge, Marco Mendoza, Peter Belts from Accept played on it, did some really great work. We did a remake of Send in the Clowns. Benny Paul played drums on a track that we had re-recorded years ago. And then Marco Mendoza put a really melodic bass, but we did a heavy metal version of that. And Carrot Top was in the video, and it's very Cirque du Soleil kind of video. It's really done really well. The people that, the lighting director for the search shows actually did me a solid and came in, and a friend of Nico Wars that actually stays producer and director. I guess not the producer, more so as the stage manager for Mystere. So he had some people step in. A guy, Gary Arona, did the video work. He's done stuff for Cinemax and HBO, and his lady, Tatlessa Stevens, who at one time was in the Hall of Fame of pornography. So she's retired now, but she dressed up like a clown. It's a great video. It's a heavy metal version. A guitar player, incredible young talented guy, Nozomi Waki. And the bummer of it is that we did all this stuff and finished the video, and then COVID hit. So that was the end of that. And so basically, the music business in Las Vegas and everything kind of closed up. And that, a lot of bars. Life changed drastically during that time, and just tried to stay positive. And I released, I did a Ruff Cutt record during that time, a Ruff Cutt 3 with Matt Thorne and Amir Durat, just the three of us. And Carlos Cavazo was a guest on that. And also re-released a Bad Boys album with a tape that I had found in the DAT machine that was in a rack in my garage, and I've lived in Las Vegas for the last 17, 18 years now. And it's been in there longer than that, and when I had a studio in LA. So I pulled it out and played it, and pulled the DAT machine out and played it, and it was savable. So it was a song called Key and Peace. So, and then I did a record with Tracy G during that time in lockdown mode. We called it Blue Dahlia. It's very Gary Moore meets kind of Zeppelin. Kind of has even a little bit of Sabbath to it on some stuff. It's a good record. Really I was very fortunate I have a studio at the house. And
can you talk about the recruitment of Carlos Cavazo and Rowan Robertson on this new album?
Carmine got a hold of me about doing the King Kobra thing. The other guys, Dave, decided he didn't want to do music anymore and kind of just tour the world. And Mick Sweeter, I think, was tied up with the Bullet Boys. So, but David Hemsling was a big part of King Kobra. So when we came down to guitar players, Robbie Lochner, who works with Jack Russell's band, actually contributed to this album. He was going to be one of the guitar players, but he was on the road with Jack, and we didn't think it was going to take as long as we thought it was going to take. And so then I reached out to Carlos. I mentioned Carlos to Carmine, and Carlos was really up for it because we had just did some stuff with Ruff Cutt, and we put together a project with part of Ruff Cutt guys and Sean McNabb, myself, and Carlos from the QR record, and put together a project called Rough Riot. And that just didn't go anywhere. So, I spent this time with Carmine, and he wanted to do another King Kobra record. And so then I reached out to Rowan Robertson. I thought it'd be really kind of a cool, because English guys play different than, American guys.
Yes.
Just, I don't know. different influences maybe. So it was really a lot of fun working with Rowan. Rowan's really talented. Unfortunately, he wasn't in the video. He's been tied up with a lot of other projects, so he kind of said he didn't have time for the King Kobra thing. So we actually asked Tavis Stanley to be in the video, but there's a possibility we're just going to go out with Carlos Camazo, myself, Carmine, and Johnny Rod.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's Carmine's band, but we've kind of passed that around because.
Besides vocals, did you have any other contributions to the album?
We Are Warriors was written by Carlos and myself. Drownin', also Dance with the Wind. That's the first song I think him and his brother played on some snow. So Tony Camazo played bass on one track. Bob Daisley played, I think, on Trouble. And Johnny Rod's on the rest of it. And actually, I played a little bass here and there, just in fixing some parts because I had Johnny record here in my studio, so it was kind of operator error on my end of it. Some of the parts got distorted, so I had to fix them. Thank God that I can. I used to play bass and I play a little bit of guitar, enough to get me by, but nothing like the guys on this record. So it was really interesting how it all came about because everybody'd send ideas. Rowan and myself would sit next to each other here in my studio in Las Vegas, and he lived here, and Carlos in California,
mm-hmm.
Carmine in Florida. So everything, Carlos would send an idea. If we altered the arrangement a little bit, I think we did on Drownin'. We just moved around a little bit and re-recorded it. But what was interesting is that we had spent a lot of time recording it and then sending it to Carmine and then him sending it back, and that's re-recording our parts. Some of the stuff fit, and I found myself having to re-do some vocals because I could do it better because of the energy instead of, playing to it. Either it was a click with the drum machine.
When it came down time to mixing the album, who did you select?
Pat Reagan, who mixed the record, he's working on some Richie Blackmore stuff from the Radar Machine stuff, which was very vintage stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he mixed it, and he's started coming up with some really neat production ideas other than the ones that I myself and Carmine and Carlos and everyone else, even Rowan, coming up with ideas when we were just doing rough mixes. So the mixes started coming back that Pat Reagan did, and he's done like everyone. I think he's worked Kiss. He's phenomenal engineer, musician, and not to mention that he mixes stuff right on. And then after that, we did the video, and we did it, same way. Everybody was in a different place. So it was, it was a long process. It was a lot of work, but it was, it's not work when you love what you do.
When you approach various projects like this, do you have a methodology of in your songwriting, or do you sit down and go, okay, these songs are going to be King Kobra, or these songs are going to be Ruff Cutt, or do you have a pretty standard approach?
Well, what's interesting is they'll send me ideas, and then I'll go through them, and maybe I hear a chorus where they have a verse, and so I'll send something back to them. That's the great thing about the digital world is that you can cut stuff up without ruining, and send ideas, and you can hone in a little bit more in your songwriting, lyrically, even coming up with the right hook and the concept of the song lyrically and melodically. Sometimes you find yourself running out of repeating, things, and so it's nice to actually lately been listening to a Christian radio station called The Message on Sirius, and they've got some really talented artists out there that have some great songs with some great melodies. So I've been kind of opened my mind to, there's some bands out there like Shine Down and that I really like as far as in that new direction of writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a it's a trip. Sometimes guitar players will send melody ideas and even some lyric ideas, and then maybe unfinished, even sometimes finished. In fact, when we finished this King Kobra record, Michael Voss, who works with Michael Schenker, I've done a record with him before called Chasing My Dreams. He reached out and he had some material that was just, off the wall of like Police and Zeppelin-y. So I kind of reached out to Carmine and Phil Soussan, and I think it was just like what took so long with King Kobra didn't take but a month and a half for us to write a whole record. It was really crazy. It was just like the ideas, and they were a lot different direction for. And Carmine hearing stuff being played one way and coming up with a totally different idea, rhythm-wise, really made the whole thing interesting. And Phil playing some really good bass stuff. It's a really good project. And we did a whole record, so it's just kind of sitting around. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but I think that we're going to release it as maybe Boss a Piece, Hassan, and Shortino, or
Oh, nice.
who knows, Project One, and then do another record. But this is really some neat stuff on there. Some really good songs. In fact, Carmine goes, "Hey, how come you didn't write some of those songs for the King Kobra record?" And I went, "Wow, the guitar player, Michael Boss was sending me these were his ideas. A lot of them, some of them he had lyrics and melodies too, and some of them he just said, hey, do your own thing here, Paul, Or he had part of a song and said, finish it. And so it was great. I feel like I did so much in such a short amount of time, being with the COVID and everything, and then having so much in time involved in the King Kobra record that, I went back and re-sang stuff and it's better than it was before, but you can end up looking up your hind end doing that too.
Yeah.
Now that the King Kobra album's out, what's next for you?
Now I haven't, I'm in the studio now, but I haven't, I've got stuff that I need to do that that's on DAT, and I need to transfer it into digital stuff. It's some stuff that I recorded way back when, and it's a blues record, and I want to remix it, maybe re-sing some stuff. And
what was that name of that project?
That was Paul Shortino and the Rhythm Junkie.
Nice.
And it's got horns on it. There's a lot of people on it that were really blues guys, and I just want to go back in, and I would like to re-sing stuff and remix it, and it's on ADAT, so it has to be transferred. I have one ADAT machine, so I have to bring that in the studio. And lately, I've just been having a heck of a time just finding the power cable to a Kurzweil keyboard that Carmine needs to borrow while he does a show here Saturday with a guy that looks like Rod Stewart. And I'm going, but that's like a Rod Stewart tribute band, man. Just because you were in Rod Stewart and he wrote, Hot Legs and If You're Think I'm Sexy with Rod and Jay Davis, yeah. So, but I told him, I says, you've got a guy that looks like Rod, and then Rod's going to be here in 2 weeks. He's going to come out there and see that,
nice.
And they can go see the real deal. So, I'm just, poking fun, but, I'm sure it's really good. He said the guy sounds just like early Rod. And so that'll be a good show.
Yeah.
It's out of BM here in Las Vegas. And so I got stuff I can do. I'm also preparing. I do a project with the Icons of Rock, classic rock. And that's with Wally Palmer from the Romantics, David Pickler from Survivor, Johnny Edwards, who was in Foreigner, Fran Cosmo from Boston, and David Evans, who was in actually AC/DC before Bon Scott. And they were in a band, I think, called Rabbit in Australia. But he's quite a performer and quite a guy. But it's a great lineup. Alex Lieberwood, who was with Santana. It's about a 3-hour show. Got some great backup singers. Beautiful Sean Coey, who's been out with Starship, has performed with us. A beautiful girl in McKenna, who is she's phenomenal. And the girls do some Barracuda, and then Alone, and they do some cover songs for people to but it actually starts out with Alex doing some Santana. We've got a great band. Mike Reezy on drums, Brandon Paul on guitar, Steve Burchill on guitar. It's quite a lineup. Carlos Aguilera on percussion, Dexter Espinoza on vocals. He worked with Bobby Kimball for a while. So it's a great show. I mean, we've played Bolivia, Mexico City, Panama. We're going out in November in Guatemala and Nicaragua, and probably then Monterrey. And they've got shows booked in Argentina and Brazil later on this next year.
Can you give our listeners an insight of how did it all come together? How did the collection of artists get grouped together to take on this I guess monumental task?
This gentleman, Iggy Manis, who was involved with Raiding the Rock Vault at one time, it was his show. It was here in Las Vegas for 7 years, with Howard Leese and Rob McCauley, Jay Schellen, Doug Aldridge. They had a rotating of people. Dave Amato from Mario. There was a basic center amount of singers. Andrew Freeman, who's in Last in Line, myself, Rob McCauley was the first ones with Joe Lynn Turner was the first lineup, and then it's just evolved into different people. So this guy was involved with that, and then he put together this Icons of Classic Rock, and I was called and said, "Hey, are you interested in doing a show in Mazelbaum?" And I said, "Sure, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, why not? How many songs?" "Oh, only 4 songs." "Oh, you're kidding." So I gave him my 4 songs, which was, I changed it to Droughts, Come On, Feel the Noise, and Don't Want to Be a Fool, Dreaming Again, and Mental Health. So I thought, instead of doing Stay With Me Tonight, I'm going to do the other song. It's a little more up-tempo. So that's how it kind of came about. He called me. I was actually with my son picking up his truck at a dealership. I didn't know what to expect. And the next thing I know, we're performing for 20,000 people on this first time we meet everybody. And the band's rehearsing all day long. In fact, that lineup of the band changed when we did Bolivia or Panama, and we did it in a arena there. And the lineup of the band changed. The backup singers were pretty much the same. And it was unbelievable. And we were all tripping how this thing came together. And now I think we're doing Spain and some European dates and a lot of South American dates. And they want to bring it here to America and maybe have a place in Vegas as a place that's residing, residency, but maybe 2 days a week or something. I don't know. The residencies here are like that. They're like 3 days for this week or 2 weeks. But yeah, it was really interesting how I got into it and how it fell together. And then I actually found out from David Pickler how Survivor came about. The song, they were doing jingles. And Sylvester Stallone heard about the band and that whole intro. They went into the studio and Sylvester said, "Come to the studio," and they showed up at the studio and he started showing them, the footage in the front. So they came up with, they had, I think already, so that whole part is really long in the front because there's 2 movies before Clubber Lang, number 3. So they show all of that footage. And it's interesting how, when you're out there, you start rapping, about being out on the road, doing, in different bands that you've done or the same bands, like Wally Palmer from the Romantics is a great guy. They're all great guys. It's just, there's no egos. It's just it's a lot of fun doing. And I look forward to doing a lot more. I mean, they've got a lot more shows up, and it's a great bunch of guys. We have a lot of fun. There's no egos, and it's really cool. So, I kind of kept myself busy, and then, it's right now I should be in here and recording stuff, and I'm just kind of like stepping away from it. And I've been, but to keep my chops up, this is really a lot of fun. There's a French restaurant on a lake here in Las Vegas called Marcia Bacchus, and some people come out from Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania and other places on the East Coast, and I'll sit around playing like jazz songs.
Oh, cool!
And standards that my mom used to sing to me and stuff, and stuff that's even some good Motown, and just songs that I like doing, some Etta James stuff. Like at last, my love has come along, it's lonely not to, and life is like a song. And just doing, some really great songs, and I can accompany myself doing the jazz kind of stuff. I even done a jazz version of Come On, Feel the Noise. It was kind of cool.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do that every, when I'm not doing anything else. I'm not usually up there jamming. I had a sax guy come in the other night, but I just try to keep busy. And so, like you just start running out of somewhere down the line, you start running out of ideas where you got to listen to stuff, other outside stuff to kind of spark.
Can you tell us a little bit about your performance aspect from over the years? Your connection with the fans up on stage is what thrills you?
I'll tell you, this Icons of Rock has been awesome. We've been playing to 20,000, 30,000 people. It's been really great to get back on a big stage with that kind of production, the lighting, and the response. Even though we're not communicating, they know the songs. It's really it's a great high. Actually, it was my 70th birthday on May 14th, and we played Mexico City, and there were 22,000. And they all sang happy. And there was a lady that said that I was going to do "Dreaming" again. I did a Latin version of it, and said I was going to sing it in Spanish, and I didn't know that that's what she said. But she got everybody to sing "Happy Birthday" to me, and then said, "This next song he's going to sing in Spanish." And I didn't mean that at all. I meant that I had actually redid, the "Dreaming" again from Ruff Cutt into "There's a misty blue horizon," with percussion and stuff. It was kind of a cool version. I actually, I thought it was appropriate for where we were at, kind of giving back to their Latin types of music, and especially, listening to Alex doing Black Magic Woman and Soul Sacrifice. It's a great show, and I enjoy doing that. I really do, and getting out in front of the audience. But I'm also doing Classic Meets Rock, which is I'm doing in Germany in April. This thing in Germany is going to be in arenas too, so I'm looking forward to that. I did some things in Japan that was interesting, question and answer, and then with a whole Japanese band, which did a part of all my catalog, from the Jeff Northrop times, the Ruff Cutt, King Kobra, almost a little bit of everything. We started out with The Kid Is Back in Town from the Northrop, the Back on Track album, and then we did Ruff Cutt, Quiet Riot, King Kobra, Rock This House, and it was great. And the band was amazing, and the fans were so. I hadn't been there in 27 years, and my wife put together this question and answer thing in Nicoya. And actually, it was the first drummer from Iron Maiden that did something like this, and then they reached out to me to do it. And then they put this whole band together. It was a big theater. It was beautiful. Then they asked me to come back, and I toured, did some touring there, which was great. It was way before COVID. And then they came back and did some more touring, and the next thing I know, the guitar player said, I'm coming over in a couple weeks, and he showed up, and we wrote an album together, and we got Doug Aldridge on that, Jay Schillen. Oh, that was filthy song. I mean, it's Make a Wish. That's that version with Ward Records. That happened before COVID, but I'm really just blessed to be able to do what I do, and I look forward to the connecting with the people, whether it be small, intimately, or on a huge stage where you're performing to a lot of people. It feels good, that adrenaline feeling, And I think we're going to be doing some touring with King Kobra in February. Just through the Whiskey and Bam. I think that was the 17th and the 18th of February, and maybe Monsters of Rock. I'm not sure. Management is Jeff Keller. He's handling the band, and I think the agency is Arm that's handling.
Yep.
And we were supposed to do some shows with Last in Line. That's what we were trying to do.
Oh.
Brothers thing.
Cool.
Warming up for those guys, but just timing wise, it hasn't worked out. So, kind of gearing up for next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to this classic meets rock, singing with the Northeast. We're going to do Come On Feel the Noise, Stay With Me Tonight, and Metal Health. So that'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always wanted to do that. I remember when I was a youngster, hearing Deep Purple with the Royal Philharmonic, and that was an awesome album.
Yeah.
With Ian Gillan and the whole lineup, Blackmore and Pace, Glover. But
as far as the organization of the Rock Meets Classic Band and Orchestra, how did the organization of that all come about?
There's a guy named Alex Byrot that I did a project with that was on the Shortino. It's About Time. We wrote a song called Too Many Nights together. And we did some touring together in Germany, and he's been doing it for quite a while. And so he reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested. And I said, absolutely. And the next thing I know, they sent me a contract. They were trying to get Scott Gorham from Thin Lizzy and one other guy. And then they got John from Supertramp. And there's quite a few different artists. I think I'm probably the last guy. The music I'm doing seems to probably be the heaviest. I don't know how they're going to do the lineup, but I'm really looking forward to doing something like this because, it's John Hellingwell and Jesse Seidenberg. I guess they're going to have somebody from Man for Man's Earth Band, Robert Hart, Nightwish, Tarja. I don't know, right? Rock meets classic. It's a trip. I'm really looking. And Russ Ballard, I'm a big fan of him.
Yes.
Great songwriter. He's going to be a very special guest to this thing. So.
Oh, cool.
I'm tripping. And then at the end of the month, we're supposed to do this huge festival in South America with the icons of classic rock. And what's interesting, we also have the icons of classic rock comic book.
Oh, really?
And,
that's cool.
Yep, with Marvel. And they just sent me over some of the sketches, and they're really cool. It's a trip.
Well, you're gonna be a superhero too.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's me and Dave Evans on the front, but I guess there'll be a different episode with each guy, different things. Pretty interesting. I saw the sketches, and then they colored them in, and then they started putting some captions to them. Who knows?
Very
it's
cool.
Out of my control.
Yeah.
But it's something cool. It's something really cool. It's got a cool cover to it. So the guys that are involved in this seem to got their scene together. Everything's been on the up and up, and traveling's been great. And like I said, there's not any egos. The band is tight. I mean, the songs sound like the record. I try not to do the quiet riot just like Kevin, because Kevin was Kevin.
Yeah.
He had his own voice, his own style. I did the songs kind of my own vibe and put a little my spin on it and do a lot more audience participating on the Come On Feel the Noise, Metal Health. Try to get everybody more involved. But working with the orchestra should be very interesting. They're probably going to want to do everything just like the record.
Fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun doing this orchestra stuff. And then I actually have, I put a show together called Rock This Way. And it's just with some classic original songs and cover songs for cruise ships. And then I got charts and backing tracks in case the musicians aren't all that good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean that they might just not be used to playing, Metal Health. So I've got, good guitar sounds for that. Drummer might be great. So the guy that does this for a lot of people. And so I'd like to, do my own thing instead of just doing the Monsters of Rock with a bunch of other rock bands that do, be a show in the main room on a ship. And do songs I want to do and acoustic songs and tell stories, road stories. I got an agent that's been messing around with that. And I've been trying to see about getting on the second Spinal Tap, but I don't know about that. It's going to happen. But that Duke Fame might regain some stardom again.
Yeah.
The rise of Duke Fame on the second Spinal Tap. I guess they all hate each other and they're on different buses. The plot, the whole thing. This kind of sounds familiar.
Absolutely.
A lot of bands.
Well, we're out of our allotted time for the evening. Is there anything tonight that we did not cover that you would like to plug or promote?
You can just go check me out on Facebook. Actually, on Instagram, they shut me down for impersonating myself. Where I had over, I think, 8,000 or 9,000 fans, and somebody opened up a Paul Shortino Instagram, and they shut me down, and I had to take pictures with. But they can go to Duke Fame.
Yeah.
Duke Fame, Paul Shortino's fan base club on Facebook or paulshortino.com. And keep up with what I got going on. Check out those records. The Ruff Cutt 3 is really cool stuff. And there's stuff on YouTube with that. And the new King Kobra, We Are Warriors, is a really good record.
Yes.
They released it in vinyl as well. So videos on YouTube, they're coming out with Turn Up the Music.
Oh, yeah.
Is one of the songs on there. They're coming up with a video of picture video with lyrics. So I saw it today, and they're making some adjustments to it. So it's interesting. It changed the title. It changed it this last minute. We were going to do it with Music is a Piece of Art, and the whole album was going to be all this different art of music, notes and instruments.
Yeah.
But the label chose We Are Warriors, and it's probably a better title, and it looks cool. So I'm really happy with how it all came out. And thanks for your time, you guys. Really, I really appreciate it.
Oh.
And let's just pray for peace, love, and happiness in the world, because it just seems like somewhere it's gotten lost.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think everybody needs to take a moment and pray for the Middle East and what's going there. And everywhere around the world, there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't even know about. In Africa and places that they don't share with us, So I just want to wish everybody all the best, and thank you for all the people who've supported me all these years, and God bless you and your loved ones, and stay safe and healthy. And Eric, Jeff, thank you so much for having me on the show, and God bless you guys, and keep rocking. Rocking's never going to die.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. This is how it's going to work. Once Jeff, the editing wizard over here, gets it all cleaned up, we'll send it to your PR people, and please have them share it wherever they can. We'd appreciate it.
You got it. I'll get it everywhere.
Thank you. Take care.
You got it. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
sunshine, fight the grip of nights. If they ever take from you, then you plug out both their eyes. They roll the dice. Take your chances.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.